it's me again. Okay, I've done the embroidery on the blanket and we're going to put a backing on it. I've picked this lovely blue paisley for the back and I've put a blue heart on the teddy and some blue writing. So I've laid this out on the table and straightened up the blanket, so if there was any crooked edges you would use your ruler and just straighten them up. I use this pen. It's a biro, it's a friction pen, and the ink irons away when you're finished, so don't worry about marking things. So what I've done is I've put the backing right side down and I've placed the blanket in the centre. What I've done is I've used the ruler to draw a 5-inch border all the way around. And then what we're going to do is miter the corners. Now I talked to you about a video that was on Missouri Quilt Company where they actually turn this over once and that's the border. But for a blanket, I think it's much nicer if we fold it twice and then you have blanket in there, you've got a bit more quality to the edges of your blanket. But we still want to miter the corners. So how do you do that? Okay, first of all, I would fold these in and press with your fingers. So fold in to the halfway and fold in here. So you're just creating a crease. Then what you're going to do is take your ruler with a 45 on it and you're going to place the ruler so the 45 is on the edge of the blanket and the okay, so to draw around 45, take your ruler, place the corner of the ruler on the corner of the blanket, and here's my 45 line travelling up, and we're going to draw a line against the edge of the ruler. And then just scoot that over here and continue the line right through. Draw another line 1/4 inch away, and that will be, the first line is your stitching line and the second line is where you're going to cut. Basically you're going to cut out a shape like this. Okay? Okay, so you can see here I've drawn in the sewing line, measured back 1/4 inch, and I've cut that corner off. And I've done that on all 4 corners, so it does look quite strange. Then I'm pushing in that halfway and I'm just pressing that with my fingers. I've pinned the blanket all over, particularly in the corners, because I don't want the blanket to move when I pick it up. So you can see now when I fold in that side and fold up that side how we're going to have a beautiful mitered corner. But first we have to sew this, and to do that you're only going to sew to that first fold line. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could take your pen and mark it, or you could just stick a pin in it. And you're going to take those right sides together and you're just going to sew to where the pin is, which is the first fold. So 1/4 inch seam along that line. I'm not sure if you can see the line. You can see the crease here where the pin is. So I'm going to sew from here down or there down, doesn't matter, on all 4 corners. And then when I turn it back the other way, here's one I made earlier. So you can see here I've just sewn to there. There's the rest, there's the line there. Then you're going to just turn that, give it a little bit of a press so that it sits nicely, and then this one gets tucked in, that one gets tucked in, and there you have a beautiful mitered corner. And we'll come back and stitch around our blanket. So I'm going to sew up these sections, turn everything to the right side, and then I'll come back and show you what stitch I'll do here. Okay, so here's the corner, and you can see I've stitched through here. When I've finished, I've actually snipped that corner off, and you can see I've stopped at that first fold there. And I'm going to take this corner and push it through, and I have ironed it, and there's our corner. There goes the thread on the floor. Okay, so that's our corner done. Now I have ironed all the rest of it, and now I'm going to stitch along this edge. So I've placed the walking foot on the machine, and I'm going to select a triple zigzag, so I'll show you that on the machine. So you can see I have my walking foot on. Just got to make sure that little bar on the side, this goes over the needle screw. This is what makes it walk. So as you put it on, you hold that up, and that makes sure it's in the right position. The stitch we're going to select, if we go into our sewing screen, I'm going to select stitch number 9. It looks like 3 stitches on the zig and 3 on the zag. So number 9. And it shows you the stitch. If I go into adjust, this is where we could change the width and length of the stitch. The default setting is 7 and the length is 1.5, and I'm happy with that, so I'm going to say OK. The only other thing I'm going to do on this screen is have the machine stop with the needle down. So I'm going to push that button now, and it shows the needle is going to stop in the down position. Okay, now I'm not going to start right in a corner. Oh, the other thing, I have blue thread on the top and I have white on the back. And with the machine set ready to go, the needle is in the far left-hand position, and I want that needle to come down right on the edge of this fold. Okay, so if I line up my foot, I can see where the needle is. Pop my foot down, and I'm going to just press the go button. You'll see then it stops with the needle down. Just go a little bit further. And what I'm watching here is this spot right over here, so that my needle comes down on this edge. Okay, coming up to a corner, I'm going to take my pin out, making sure everything's nice and flat. I've got to stitch down to where this mitre line is. And I want the needle to stop on the left hand side. So one more stitch. And now I'm going to lift the foot with the needle down, turn my work around. I'm going to lift the needle back up again and move so I'm back where I want to be. And away we go again. And if we have a look at the corner, then you can see here how we've got a nice turn. Okay? By the time you've done 4, you'll be an expert.